Hello and welcome to this O&DR Modurol video, strut mount covers. This is video L12 in our series of Nissan Leaf videos, and this video we're going to show you why strut mount covers are essential for your Nissan Leaf and other cars. If you're not familiar, strut mount covers are a method of actually protecting the top of your strut mount from damage and corrosion. And in this video, we're going to split it down into 4 sections as usual. First section, why are strut mount covers so important? Secondly, what are the options for strut mount covers, and in particular for a Nissan Leaf, albeit the similar things are available for other cars. Thirdly, actually how easy it is to fit them. And fourth, our recommendation for strut mount covers out of a selection we've tested for your Nissan Leaf. So if you're thinking about buying a strut mount cover for your Nissan Leaf, please watch the video to the end because it might alter your selection. If you're interested in this video, chances are you're going to be interested in some more content we've got on our channel, O&DR Modurol. There's lots of Nissan Leaf content on there, and also Jaguar XK8 is our speciality. Please press a thumbs up if you do like the video. It does make a difference and helps to support the channel. Okay, so first section, why are these strut mount covers so important? So let's have a look at front suspension for a start. So front suspension on most modern cars is made up of a front strut or a front McPherson strut. The lower part of the strut, as you can see there, has bolt points where it's actually fixed to the wheel hub, and the top part is allowed to rotate as it's fixed to the body. In order to do that, there's a rotating upper strut mount, as you can see here. If we look at an example of a upper strut mount cross section, in particular the strut mount itself, the upper location is allowed to rotate because it has an internal bearing. Now, the problem with Nissan Leaf and other cars, or small compact cars, is that the windscreen scuttle, where you're channeling all your water off your rainwater off your windscreen, is sometimes very close to these upper strut mounts. The problem being that when it's raining and the windscreen wipers are working, that windscreen scuttle, obviously it's channeling all your water and it can overflow, particularly in this case the driver's side windscreen wiper, directly on top of the strut mount. As you can see, I've got a cover on here to protect it. You can see the water is dripping directly into the upper strut mount. And without a cover, you're going to see something like this. This is before I had the cover fitted. The strut mount, it's got water pooled in there. It's obviously rusting the upper nut, and it's very, very damp. So as the water pools in the top of that strut mount, some of the water or moisture starts to enter into the strut mount assembly itself, and in particular the bearing. The effect of that is the bearing obviously starts to rust and will eventually seize up, and the upper strut mount stops rotating. The problem with that is obviously as you're steering the car, the lower will still be rotating, but the upper is fixed. The whole thing will start rotating with the actual the cylinder, the hydraulic cylinder or damper. The symptom of that is actually you'll get a noisy spring. So as the steering is rotated, the spring will start to move along the upper strut mount, which isn't rotating anymore, and you'll get a doing, 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 doing sort of noise as the spring is bouncing along and sort of chiming as you turn. So if you have that sort of noisy spring symptoms, chances are your upper strut mounts have seized and your spring is sort of rubbing against the top mount. In order to repair this, what you're looking at, in particular for a Nissan Leaf, you're going to need, probably advised to put a new strut mount, rubber mounting on as you're taking the whole thing apart. The mounting itself is roughly £25 in 2022, part number 54320. But the bearing itself is actually a separate part. Again, it's circa £25 again, part number 54325. The total replacement part cost is going to be about £50 plus fitting. It's not particularly difficult to fit. You will need some specialist tools, some spring compressors, and obviously some garage tools. So I don't know, 2 hours tops at a garage. So you're looking at a couple £100 to fix these things. And if you had a strut cover on that, you could avoid this altogether. So what options do we have as us hobby motorists to actually avoid this unnecessary repair cost? So I found there was actually 3 main strut cover options available. There is the Nissan one. Surprisingly enough, there is one for this Nissan strut mount available. The VW one that people quite commonly use that will fit directly on. And there's the custom designed 3D printed one. So I'm going to review all 3. Interestingly, in your Nissan Europe electronic part catalogue, the link I'll put in the description of the video is http://nissan-europe.epc-data.com. It actually shows in the exploded diagram of the Nissan Leaf front strut a little cap on there, part number 54330. And that's the part we bought on eBay. And this is a particular part. It's little rubber, sort of big grommet with a hole in the middle. There you go, the part number you see clearly there. And that is supposedly designed to do the job. You can buy them. We bought them on eBay. They were quite reasonably priced, £6.50 for a pair, free postage. Then the second option was the VW strut mount cover. Again, it's a rubber part, little different design, a lot larger. It actually encapsulates the whole strut mount, and there's a little mounting sort of gripping system on the nut. The VW part number for that is 171412359001C. Again, you can pick them up on eBay or any internet retailer. They were a bit more expensive, £4.25 each or £8.50 for the pair, but a little bit more quality product than the Nissan offer, surprisingly enough. And finally, the 3D printed part. You can get the CAD data from Thingiverse or Pinshape, completely free. Download it to your 3D printer software, bit of CAD cam, and it'll print it off. You can see in this particular case, it's a very simple design, but there is a retaining lip, so it will positively locate to your strut mount. We did actually, Owen, my son Owen, has actually got a 3D printer. He's very sort of techie and supports the channel. Thank you, Owen. He actually printed a pair of these off for me. It took about 4 hours, 40 minutes, so circa 5 hours to print. And we use them to test. There is a fourth option. Well, it was suggested on one of the Facebook forums that you could use sink plunger tops. And they're very cheap. They're £3.79 each. So you're looking about less than £8 for a pair of these. But what did put me off was the fact that the actual plungers would make the Nissan Leaf, look even more bug-eyed, with little antennae pointing out of the bonnet, if you could actually close the bonnet at all. So I discounted that, but I do believe some people have fitted sink plunger tops to the strut mounts to seal them, and they probably do a reasonable job, but not really for me. Section 3 then, fitting. Very, very easy to fit. For a Nissan Leaf, you need to remove this little trim cover, and you will see the strut top there. I actually just blew out the water with some compressed air, if you're lucky enough to have a little compressor. I actually dried the remaining moisture out with a cloth. If you've got time, it's best to leave it in the sun if it's warm enough and let the thing dry out before you seal it up. And then finally, I added a bit of light penetrating oil to try and lubricate the bearing, stop the thing rusting. I did actually put a little bit of old engine oil in there as well, hoping to re-lubricate the bearing if you can get past the corrosion, etc. Then finally, most of these strut top covers are push-on fitment. You can see this is the VW one as an example. You just push it on, and it's literally as simple as that. Jobs are good, and you could save yourself £100 or so repair for the sake of a few pounds. That's the whole point of this. Finally, with the Nissan Leaf, just don't forget to refit your trim cover. Just clips back in, get these two little tangs in place, tabs, and then push down there. Jobs are good. Very easy. It's minutes, well, less than a minute to fit one of those things, save you hundreds of pounds. So, section 4 then, which one do we recommend? We've got several choices. There is a definite winner of this. You might be interested. The Nissan cover then, we're not particularly happy with. It had difficult locating. You can see that it didn't positive locate. We give it a good push in, so if it wasn't actually clipping onto the little tags in the bottom of that strut mount, but it wouldn't have it. I'm not sure because this was maybe a pattern part, or maybe it wasn't the right part for this particular vehicle, but it did have the right part number and right marking, so really not impressed with Nissan cost cutting, to be honest. The fact that it was actually missing altogether probably didn't help, but then when we've actually bought them, they're not good. Not good. It's a nice way of putting it. So the fitment wasn't good, but also the design was pretty poor as well. So they're very small diameter, and the diameter doesn't cover the top of the metal strut. So as water's pouring onto it, it can actually enter underneath that cover. It'll have to be watertight seal in order to seal properly. And I didn't get the impression these particular covers were that great at sealing either, particularly because they didn't locate. So I expect these Nissan ones not to really be that good. They'll probably push most of the water away, but they will allow some in. So it might let your strut mounts last a little bit longer, but it's not going to be a positive way of avoiding it altogether. The VW strut mount covers were much better fit, but still didn't locate positively. I say you push them on, really easy to fit. They grip onto the nut, you can't flick them off. What I did find after a couple of weeks of driving around in these, when I went back to inspect them, they were starting to lift slightly, so whether the banging of the suspension was allowing it to just work its way off, so better, but not 100%. Finally, the 3D printed ones. These weren't easy to fit, but actually it's a good thing. Because of those retaining lips on each side, you do have to really push them on to get them on. But the impression I got with these ones is it took a bit of force to push them on. There you go. Really give them a good push on, but they were positively located. There's no way that was going to be vibrated off by the suspension, and I was really impressed with that. Somebody's done a good job designing that CAD, this part, really good. Both the VW design and the 3D printed design had that better design in that it covered the whole of the top of the strut mount where it allowed it to pool. So any water would be deflected away from that completely. So not only was the fit better, but the overall design was a better concept. So I'm pretty sure that with those covers fitted, water isn't getting anywhere near those bearings. So that's a bit of a summary. So the Nissan then, if you're searching for Nissan Leaf strut tops, this is the interesting thing, on eBay or Amazon or whatever, this Nissan part number, the standard one, was the one you come up with every time, but they are not very good. You need to try and avoid those. If you've got access to a 3D printer or a friend who'll print you some, go for the 3D print one every time. If you haven't got access to them, the VW design is a good compromise. It's readily available for a few pounds. It's a good design, not perfect. It's a good design and fit. But if you do have access to the 3D printer, thank you, Owen, the 3D printed ones are excellent. Excellent design, and the fit is superb. Really was impressed with those, and it sold me on 3D printing plastic parts. So look out. There's more coming. So hopefully You find that useful if you're interested in Nissan Leafs or strut mounts in general for any car. I hope you find that useful. Thank you very much for watching. Please like, comment, share and subscribe for more XK8 and Nissan Leaf videos.